Here we have the daily price chart for SOUNDHOUND AI Incorporated, stock ticker SOUN. So as we can see here, the stock is starting to sort of consolidate at somewhat higher levels. If we remember, and if we go back to the last video that I posted for this stock, we can see that the price declines that had occurred previously were quite substantial in nature. After the stock posted near-term highs during the July 15 trading session, these came in at $6.45. We saw ultimate declines all the way into $3.94. So this is a really major destruction in share price value, given the fact that we're trading a stock here that costs roughly $5 or $6. So overall, these are substantial price moves, even though they might not seem like they're substantial in dollar terms. What this really led to here was a retest of this prior trading range and support zone, which came in at roughly $3.85, which was posted during the end of June. So essentially what happened here is we gave back roughly all of the trading gains that were posted during the early parts of the July trading period. So these are substantial price movements here. And currently what we're seeing here is a bit of a recovery, and we have seen some higher highs in the process. So currently what we're looking at is a price rally stemming from roughly $3.94 all the way to price levels that are higher than $5.50. This does breach the ultimate price high, which was reached during the July 31 trading session. So this is a bullish movement here. And then in addition to this, we do have the relative strength index reading on the daily chart, which does suggest that there is still bullish momentum that's underlying share prices. We're sort of flatlining here a bit at mid levels within the relative strength histogram here, but this is not entirely surprising because we can see similar activity occurring in share price itself. So we're sort of forming a sideways consolidation zone at roughly $5. So this is right around this psychological handle here. So to a large extent, a lot of these movements really are predictable. So what we can say here about the future price movement of the stock is quite important because there are reasons to believe that this stock could continue trending higher from here. Specifically, what I would point to first would be this relative strength index reading. As we can see here, it is posting higher highs, and this does suggest that there is still bullish momentum here in the stock and in the market, even though we have seen these major declines from this prior price high, which came in at $6.45. So specifically, we do have this rising indicator reading, and then in addition to that, we also have the fact that the share price itself is trading above the exponential moving average cluster. If we move in a bit, we can see that the stock is in danger of falling back into that exponential moving average cluster. And of course, that would be a negative event because one, it would reduce some of the upside momentum that's currently seen in share prices. And then number two, this exponential moving average cluster and these four moving averages are very important because this is the daily chart. And once you start to fall back into these areas, it can be very difficult to get out of those areas. In other words, prices tend to become trapped in this area and sort of bounce around between support and resistance zones that are found within these exponential moving averages. So in other words, we have this rising blue line here, which is still pointed in the top, in the upper direction and focused on the top side. But if we were to continue to move down here, down into this area, we could expect to see somewhat of a bounce coming in at roughly $4.20. But then resistance levels could also start to form in the stock as we move back to $4.85. So as we're seeing here, this would be a trading range that would come in at roughly 65 cents per share. Overall, that can be kind of a frustrating trading experience if that does happen, because it can be very difficult for prices to find a breakout in either direction. As things currently stand, this is sort of the main level to watch at this point. If we did see a daily close below this roughly $4.85 mark, it would be significant because it would suggest that the share price had declined back below this 20-day exponential moving average. So if we're able to stay above there, that would be a positive development, given the fact that we are seeing larger trend waves here that are establishing themselves in the bullish direction, as we can see here. And then we also have these new price highs, which came in at $5.52. So if we take all of that into combination with the fact that the relative strength index reading on the daily chart is still focused in the top side direction, in the upper direction, you do still have a recipe here for continued movements higher. But I would say that today's daily close is going to be very, very significant and very critical, because if we fall back below that 20-day exponential moving average, that will also mean that we have a weekly close below the 20-day exponential moving average. This is due to the fact that today is a Friday trading session. So, we are at somewhat of an important inflection point here. And what bullish traders really need to see, I mean, if you're long this stock, what you really need to see at this point is for share prices to at least maintain this level. If we fall back below here, this could be a bit of a warning sign, because you would also be losing the $5 handle. For many people, that's a psychological level that tends to be watched very closely. I personally try not to focus on those types of levels, because I don't think that they have any technical significance on their own. I think that they're just psychological in nature. But you do have to consider the fact that many people aren't really looking at it that way. Many people are just thinking, okay, well, it's below $5 or it's above $5. It's sort of a big round number that's easy to focus on. And if we do drop below here and close below here on a weekly basis, this could discourage some new investors from entering into this stock and establishing new positions. So what we would really like to see here is for there to be at the very minimum a close above 485, because at the very least that would allow us to remain above the 20-day exponential moving average, and then above all of these other moving averages as well. There is still the fact that you would be closing below $5. So if you could see share prices closing above the $5 mark, it's important for more than one reason. So as far as upside price targets are concerned, currently what we're looking at is this $5.52 mark. If we pull out a bit more long term on this price chart, we can see that there are some very significant trend lines here that have developed somewhat near current levels. I mean, we're actually very close to running into this trend line here relatively soon, given the fact that it's such a steep downward slope. As we can see here, this is a fairly significant downtrend here. It's a very strong downtrend. It's focused very strongly in the downward direction, and the slope itself comes in at a significant degree. So, there's good news and bad news to that. I mean, the good news would be that it can be easier to break, given the fact that steep declines tend to be less sustainable. You have to really have a lot of downside momentum in order to maintain that type of selling condition. So overall, if we are able to break above this $5 mark, close above here for the trading week, and then possibly move above this downtrend line here in the following week, that would be the ultimate positive scenario for people that are currently long this stock. So here's the current market analysis for SoundHound AI Incorporated, stock ticker SOUN. Our high value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market. Lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership, and start trading stocks with the pros.